Yo, 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 YouTube. Today's episode is all about tips and tricks and where you can sell your low dollar cards and underpriced cards for profits. Check this out. Okay, so the options are basically COMC and eBay and Facebook Marketplace. So let's break down all three of those to help you figure out what is the best way for you to sell your low dollar bulk cards. COMC, or check out my cards, as COMC stands for, is a great website to flip low dollar cards. You can take your bulk or your mass of lower end cards, ship them to COMC. They will list them in an account for you, take pictures of them, and offer them for sale. Now, the beauty of COMC for low dollar cards is if you're purchasing low dollar cards on there, you don't necessarily have to take possession of them. So if you see cards that you feel are underpriced, you can purchase that card, add it to your inventory, and try to reflip it for a gain without the shipping back and forth and the time delay and so forth. So the downside to COMC is that it's taking forever right now for you to get inventory. So you may ship, let's say you ship 100 cards to them. It might take months to get listed onto the COMC website. So you have these bulk cards, maybe you need to sell them right now, maybe they're basketball cards and it's during the season, so you want them on there to get those sales before the season is over, while all players are hyped and things like that. So you have to think about the timing and things for that. I don't see their popularity going down with the amount of new collectors, investors, things like that in the markets. I only see their business getting busier, just like PSA, BGS, and SGC for grading. So I think COMC is the best way to use it right now. If you already have cards there, then that's great, go for it. But the best way I think to use them is to purchase cards that are already listed there that you see at a discount. So we talk about our trading up and our discount buying. That's a great website to do that. And if they're for your collection, by all means, you would get those cards sent to you, which also takes a couple of months. Otherwise, I would just relist them for the profits. Another great resource is Facebook Marketplace. So I've sold quite a few cards on Facebook Marketplace. I happen to collect a player who played in the area I live in, so it's a huge advantage, being that there's a lot of collectors of that player in this area. So that you might not find that connection to fit for you, or maybe you're not a player collector, maybe you collect sets, or whatever your place in the hobby is, might not fit too well with Facebook Marketplace, but I found it to be a good resource. So basically you're going to be listing an ad on Facebook Marketplace and having people respond to that ad. So it's essentially like the newspaper of the old days, the classifieds, if you're unfamiliar with Facebook Marketplace. But basically what I do is I made a very generic post that I had base cards to sell of this specific player. Please contact me. I had bulk, and I took a picture of a couple of big boxes of cards and things like that to show that I had lots of different things available. And I basically just keep repeating that ad. So I don't list a specific card necessarily, unless there was a bigger card that I particularly wanted to move, but to stay in the frame of the lower end and discounted cards, whatever you want to call them. The best way to list is to just put one offer out there that covers a lot of different cards, and then sort through inquiries as they come in. I also suggest meeting at a neutral place if it's a collector you're familiar with in your area or something like that. you know, by all means, you can have them over to your home, but I always try to come up with a neutral spot where I can bring cards and let the purchaser get them in person and stuff and make that exchange. So cards are small, they're easy to transport. If someone contacts you and says, hey, I'm looking at 100 of these cards, it's pretty simple to get those boxed, bring them to a neutral location, and process that transaction. Okay, so let's talk eBay. eBay is by far the best source to sell cards, in my opinion. Low dollar cards, high dollar cards, it doesn't matter. I understand there's fees and things like that that makes them not the best pricing wise. You have to sort of price that stuff in to help you cover those expenses. However, you get the world market. And when you're selling low dollar or underpriced cards that you're trying to flip for a small profit, you need as many people's eyes on those cards as possible. The reason I say that is if I have a Silver Prism Luka Doncic PSA 10 card, that's a very liquid card. I can probably sell that anywhere, at a show, on COMC, on Facebook Marketplace. There's probably investors, you know, hawking out for cards like that. But if I'm trying to sell a $2 Brett Favre low-end 90s insert card, I don't have that kind of automatic market. So I need to have as many eyes looking at it. I need Favre collectors, Packer collectors, NFL quarterback, Pro Bowl collectors, you know, you name it. I need as many of those eyes on there as possible, as well as a lot of the investors. That's where they're going right away. They don't collect, so they don't necessarily look at COMC or Facebook Marketplace or something like that. If they're looking to get into some cards, they're going to go right to where the biggest marketplace is and try to get those investments for themselves. So, some tips for eBay. One, if you're going to sell low dollar cards and you're planning to do bulk and you want to actually make some profits on them, you got to set up a store, because you're going to have so many cards. You need to have a place where they're not quite as liquid, so you're going to need to have a place where you can list these items, let them sit if they need to, be able to turn them over and sell, you know, whatever time is convenient for the buyer that finds the cards. So the store is extremely important. Plus, you can get more money when you sell an item in a store versus an auction, because you have an asking price. The other huge benefit to the store is your items are listed for a lot longer period of time. So if I have a card that doesn't have a lot of liquidity and a huge market influence that I'm selling for, let's say, $5, and I put it on auction, pretty good chance I might not hit that $5, because there isn't going to be as much interest in that card. So if I can get into the store and I can list it for $5, let it sit there for a 30-day period of time, and then simply renew that if it doesn't sell, I'm basically biding time until I find a buyer that's looking for that particular card. Another great reason for an eBay store is quantity sales. So if I go to auction a card, great, I sold one of that card. What if I have 20 copies of it? I can post 20 copies in the store, counts as one listing, and it is quite often that I will have somebody come in and buy 5 copies, maybe all 20 copies at one time. Lots of buyers are looking for quantities of cards, some as an investment, some as a collection, some to flip, whatever. And currently, in my experience, a lot of people have been buying cards in bulk because they want to sort them and take the best copies and submit them for grading. So if you buy one copy of a raw card on eBay, your odds of that being a PSA 10, for example, is not that great. If you buy 20 copies of that card from a bulk seller First of all, you have lots of different copies to compare to, so you can pick, you know, really cherry pick and understand that card's intricacies as far as what to look for grading. But you also have that quantity to look through where you can really pick the best examples and submit those for your best grades. Another reason for an eBay store is it allows you to sell quite a few cards at a time. So at the $59.95 level, if you're an annual subscriber to a store at the premium level, you get, and you do managed payments, which we will talk about managed payments in a second, you get 50,000 fixed priced listings at no cost. So that means I can list a bunch of $1.29 and $2.99 cards, whatever your pricing comes out to. You can list a lot of those before you run out of eBay space and have to sit on that inventory. So, and that's per listing. So if you have a card you've got 20 copies of, you can list 20 copies of it in there for sale, as long as they're in the same condition, things like that, you know, everything meets the same measurements for that card. You can list 20 of those cards in there. It counts as one listing. So you could do 50,000 of those 20 card listings. So I think it's a huge value. I think $60 a month is not much. And, you know, I only have to sell a few decent cards to pay that price. And then I have no insert fees. So any of those cards I list in the store are at no risk to me because I don't pay to list them. Yes, when they sell, you have a final value fee, but that's the same for anything you do on eBay. You sell it at an auction, you sell it at a store price, whatever, you have a final value fee. The other great advantage is at that store level, you get 500 free auctions per month. So I have a lot of inventory that tends to build up in numbers. So let's say I have a card that I have 40 copies of. Not very good odds that I'm going to sell 40 copies to one buyer. So I'm going to have to look for quite a few buyers to move those cards. So what I can do is take, you know, a bunch of those and list them on eBay. Putting cards on eBay tends to get a different set of buyers from my experience. So I could get, there are some buyers that like the auction game and they want to just go on and look through your auctions and throw a bunch of bids at stuff. Yes, I price them at a discount. I do 99 cents free shipping on all my auctions, but it's pretty rare that somebody will buy one card. So if I list 500 cards at 99 cents, even if they're only worth, you know, $1, if they're dollar box cards, most people won't dig through your auctions and hit on just one of them and spend the time to do that. They're looking for 5, 6, 7 different cards minimum. Sometimes I'll have somebody go in there and throw bids on 50, 60 cards. So for me, that free shipping doesn't really cost because when you combine shipping on cards, it's pretty cheap. And, you know, they're small and they don't weigh much. Now, as I've said in a previous video, if you do sell a card at 99 cents free shipping, you don't make anything on it. Especially if you're looking at fees and shipping and an envelope and all that good stuff. So yes, you're probably letting some of those cards go at cost. So let's say you list 500 auctions and you have 20 of those cards sell at the 99 cents. You had 20 cards you didn't make any profit on. When I'm auctioning cards, I'm not auctioning my best cards. Those are for sale in the store. Sometimes I'm auctioning like the hot player at the time if I have cards, just because I know that the liquidity's increased and there's demand. But otherwise, if it's my normal Brett Favre player stuff, I try to sell the cards that I know would sit at $1.29 in the store and probably not sell for a while, or that I have, like I said, lots of copies of. So I'm willing to let them go. If it goes for 99 cents and I don't make a profit on it, big deal. That wasn't the card when I bought the lot or I bought the collection. That wasn't the card that I was after when I bought it. That was the card that I simply need to to move, and then there's profit in the cards that I focused on in that lotter collection. So you have to look at what you need out of your inventory. To hold on to a ton of cards and not move them for anything doesn't really work either. So the small risk that I take on selling a few cards at no gain at all is completely worth it. Not to mention, I feel like those initial auctions are a way to get buyers into your store. Not just necessarily on that purchase itself, but they purchase an auction at 99 cents, you pack it well, you send it nice. They receive it in a timely fashion. They've tested it out, it's good. Okay, great, now I need these cards that are all listed in your store. Boom, here's a bigger purchase where you can actually make some profit on some other card sales. So I believe that that's a very positive tactic to take. Now here's a real key tip if you're going to be a bulk and dollar card seller on eBay. You need a second account, and I'll tell you why. The second account would not be a store, it would just be a basic eBay account. But it does a couple of things for you. A, it gives you more free auctions per month. It doesn't cost you anything per month to have, unlike the store subscription. Those 200 free auctions you get a month are a nice way to help you move some extra inventory. And a lot of times you'll get a buyer on both accounts and you can combine them and ship them all together anyway. So it just adds to your, think of it as an extension to your main account's free auction listings. But I believe the biggest advantage to that second account is how the auction listings work on it. So when you list an auction in your premium store, let's say you list it for 7 days. When it hits that 7 days, that's it. That auction is done. You either need to relist it. If you have free auctions left, list it, pay for the listing. Usually what I do if I'm out of free auctions is I will just hold on to those particular auctions and then relist them again once I have free auctions again. So it just kind of goes through a merry-go-round, recycle. Versus if you have that second eBay account, when you list an auction on there, let's say you list it for 7 days, it'll list up to 8 times, relist up to 8 times at no cost, even if you don't have any free auctions available. So that 99-cent card that's maybe a little bit tougher to move, I can list it on there for 7 days, nobody bites on it, it goes for another 7 days, nobody bites on it, and so on, up to 8 times. I feel like that's a huge advantage when you're trying to move some lower end inventory. So the second account is a great deal. It doesn't cost you anything unless you get sales in it. And again, you're hitting that auction group of buyers that want to buy quantity, but they want to do it by auction, maybe even get a little better deal than if you were to do it at a buy it now price. A lot of times I will even have buyers message me on there, hey, I see you've got this card auction for 99 cents. I need 10 copies of it. Would you take, $10 or $8 or something for 10 copies if you have them? So I've even found a way to sell quantity through the auctions. So definitely a second eBay account is a must. So let's talk a little bit about listing on eBay. So we talked about auctions, we talked about the store, we talked about the second account. The final piece to this would be how to list that item. So the cheapest card in the store that I sell is $1.29. And the reason I do that is because I want to ensure that if I sell it in the store, I get a profit on every single card. So my cost basis on average is about 17 cents a card. Lately it's gotten to be a little bit higher, 20 to 22%, just because the market's gone up. Even on lower end cards, a lot of the prices have gone up. But most of my bulk in my inventory that I purchased was before prices have gone up. So my cost basis is still around 17 cents per card. So if I bought a card for 17 cents, I sell it for $1.29 in the store. I make about 30 to 35 cents on that after fees and stamp in an envelope. So, and I've pointed this out in another video as well. But the key here is that you're making a profit on probably not the card you even bought the lot for. So there would be much better cards in there than that $1.29 card. Why list at 99 cents free shipping on auctions? Let's talk about that since we haven't covered it. And I alluded to a little bit earlier why I don't care if it sells at 99 cents free shipping, because it's a break-even point at a 17-cent card. Actually, it might even be a loss at times of a penny or two, depending on what that card ended up actually costing me on the cost basis. But the beauty of that is you're going to sell that card at 99 cents free shipping. Even cheap cards, I sell base early 90s junk wax score Brett Favre cards for 99 cents all the time. That's not going to be a highly desirable card. People aren't going to search that one out. There's plenty of them out there. They don't normally sell for much money. If they do sell, they're in dime boxes, stuff like that. But somebody might be coming in and looking at 4 or 5 inserts that I have listed at 99 cents, and they say, okay, well, the scorecard is something I still need. It's 99 cents free shipping. I'm going to throw a bid on it, and I can get a bunch of cards knocked off my list at one time. I also have team collectors and things like that are just looking for, well, I just need a couple of Brett Favre cards to put together a team plaque or something to that effect. So you have people that are looking for those low-priced cards, and they don't want to pay $3.50 shipping for a 99-cent card. So it's a huge advantage to be able to put those auctions out there. Now, if I list, let's say I list 500, I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say I list 500 99-cent auctions. They're all super cheap cards that I would sell for $1.29 in my store. I might sell 220 to 250 of those cards. But that's 250 cards that I sold that would probably be just sitting in an inventory if I had them priced at that $1.29 and I have large quantities of them sitting around. So it's a great way to move inventory. It helps pay your store cost and get some stuff out the door so you can buy some more collections and focus on those better cards that you're buying the collections and the lots for. So a lot of times what I'm looking to do is not necessarily make a profit on those cards, but just get them moved on. So the free shipping helps quite a bit. Now you can ship 3-4 cards for a stamp and an envelope. It doesn't take much. There isn't much to a card. So if you sell 4 cards at 99 cents a piece and you're combining the shipping on them, then you did actually make profit, because you're only paying one shipping fee for all 4 of those cards. So you're making, let's just keep it simple. So if you didn't pay shipping on each one of those cards, you're saving 55 cents on each of those 3 extra cards that you sold, and you're shipping with the first one. So I mean, that's $1.15. So I made profit of $1.15 on those 4 cards that would have sat around in inventory and not done anything for me. And keep in mind, I only paid 17 cents a piece for them. So I don't have a much of a financial commitment to them as it is. So I don't need much out of them. So that is the other key to why I do the 99 cents and the free shipping. Now, one of the big things that eBay does, if you're a good seller on there and you're constantly getting inventory moved, meaning auctions that are completing and store sales, they'll give you groups of free auctions at times. So for example, and again, remember I have 2 eBay accounts, so this can be affected on both of your accounts. But I just recently got 1,000 free auctions on my store account and 1,000 free auctions on my second account. So that's 2,000 low-end, low-dollar cards I can list on eBay. If I sell 1,000 to 1,200 of those cards, that's a ton of stuff out the door that aren't big sellers for me, and a bunch of profit in the door that I can then use to help grow my low dollar card business. Now, if you're selling multiple players, different teams, different sports, things like that, that might complicate it for you a little bit, because you might not have somebody that's coming in to buy a low-end, let's say Barry Sanders card, that's also looking for a low-end Jordan card, for example. So you might not have the buyer who's looking for both of those, so that combined shipping could be a taller task. So when you're listing those auctions, if you're listing at 99 cents free ship and you don't think there's going to be much demand, you're just trying to get a bite on that card, you're really going to want to think it through and look for cards that you believe you can actually consolidate in your sales to try to come ahead on them. Now, if your motivation is more like mine, where you're looking at, well, I would just love to sell it and get this inventory out, I don't need to profit on this, I have other cards I can profit from, then that won't really matter if you're selling those cards individually. And again, hopefully you're gaining a buyer. So if you're selling that Barry Sanders card to one guy and a Jordan card to another guy, and then you have stuff in the store that can support those other Barry Sanders cards, other Jordan cards, other basketball, other football, whatever, you know, you're still gaining a buyer that's looking at you, because getting attention in the market is just as important, just like it is on YouTube. So like, subscribe, please. But getting attention is just as important as, you know, actually making the sale and actually making profit and so forth. You need people to know that you're a seller. So that's going to conclude today's video. I would love it if you want to leave some comments, questions, rebuttals to what I've said, tips that I've missed. Any of that would be super helpful. I want to try to update this video as time goes on. I've really only been selling the low dollar cards and been making that my focus for a couple of years. So I'm definitely learning and experiencing new things all the time, and I would love to continue to share for those that are interested in this type of model. There are, like I said, lots of space for low dollar flippers and bulk sellers. It seems to be a niche in the market that hasn't really been exploited yet, unlike the investor side and the high dollar prism investment PSA type stuff. There's a lot of that happening now. So there's some other holes in the market. With the growth of the market, we need people to fill these other holes where collectors, investors are looking. So think of it like penny stocks, right? So you have your Amazon stock, which is $1,500 a share, and then you have your penny stocks that are just trying to get off the ground and, you know, make something. So basically, I'm a penny stock seller in the card business. Anyway, more for next time. Take care.